Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today on our session to get to know Insightful so you don't miss out on key news on your donors and prospects. We are at the top of the hour, so let's get started. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing. I'll be joined today by my colleagues Sarah Landman and Mariana Boone. Few housekeeping items as we get rolling here. We are recording this session, so you will get a copy of it in your email as a follow-up. We hope to share a bit of information about who we are as a company, some of our customer success stories, and how Insightful works. We do want today to be conversational. We'll be happy to take your questions and answers, and we will do our best to get all of them, and then we'll talk about some next steps. So to ask a question, you might see some icons on the left side of your screen. Just open up that chat icon, looks like what you see here. Type it in. We'll do our best to get to all of them. But again, if we run short on time or there's something really specific to your organization, we commit to getting back to you in the very near future. Also, on the icons, you can download any handout information that's there too. So if that sounds good to everyone, we're going to dive right in. Quickly, to share a bit about Insightful. Insightful is software that automates the process of getting crucial news about your donors wherever they are in the world. And this credible, vetted information provides insights to help deepen donor relationships so ultimately you can make more money to advance your mission. And we accomplish this through a very easy to use interface that efficiently delivers the right information to the right person at the right time. And the breadth and depth of the information in Insightful is unmatched by any other resource. And it's all available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any device. So whether you're in the office or working remotely, you have access to the news in Insightful. Our parent company is Newsbank, and Newsbank powers our content. And we're proud to tell you that Newsbank has celebrated recently its 53rd anniversary as a business. And the reason we're all here today is to learn more about how to uncover critical information that your organization cannot afford to miss. To lead our discussion is Sarah Landman. Sarah has served as a major gift officer and a leader of 2 national fundraising consulting firms. She's helped raise more than $500 million for nonprofits during her 20-year career. A frequent speaker on various topics included innovative fundraising strategies and the next generation of donors. She's presented at AFP International, AHP, and NEDRA conferences, and many more. She's on the board of trustees for St. Mary's University of Minnesota and Catholic Charities. She currently serves as the Executive Vice President of Insightful. Please join me in welcoming Sarah Landman. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here today. As Catherine mentioned, Insightful helps automate the process of getting crucial news about donors that our customers can't afford to miss. And that leads to deeper donor relationships and greater giving. And first, before we start off, I want to share a brief video that shares our customers' success.
We need an in. We need a reason to reach out. We need a way to engage. And so Insightful really helps us do both. It helps provide kind of information. It's those alerts of things that come up that we should know about our donors and parents. But also it provides a way to be able to reach out and, especially depending on the nature of the source, but often it's a way to reach out and say, I came across this and this is so exciting. And then it's a natural way to reach out. So it provides that connection point, which is often so much more effective than a cold call.
The pieces that we're currently using are just game changers for us.
We had a recent example where a prospect that we have a great relationship with, we very much value that partnership, had recently received an award, and that came through the Insightful feed. And so we were able to send that to the prospect's manager, and the manager was able to reach out, congratulate the prospect about the award. And so it was a really great touch point that we would not have been aware of more than likely without Insightful.
every single day, somebody in our organization finds a piece of information that can be helpful. Again, sometimes you just tuck it in the back of your mind. So I guess I would say don't be fearful that it's going to be a frivolous or sort of extraneous piece of software that you won't use. It's really, really valuable.
The first thing I say is that it is remarkable, and it will change the way your development officers work, because they walk into the room informed, and not just from, like you said, the Google searches and the other information sources about finances and assets. It's very much about who they are and tells their story through news articles, and family connections, how they live, frankly, how they die, how they are remembered even, is all there. And to have that push to you and to be able to interact with your development officers and make that timely, remarkable.
Newsbank has the article, has the access, has kind of the system built out that makes it so much more efficient. Trust me, I have Google alerts and it's a lot to sift through. This really helps you cut through the noise, and you're getting reputable vetted news sources to go along with it.
You're celebrating with them in a way that has nothing to do with asking for money. You're just legitimately celebrating with them or acknowledging their area of expertise and just able to see them as value outside of the dollars you're asking for.
We always love hearing about the success of our customers. Thank you, everyone that was in the video. Now I'll get into Insightful. And as we've discussed, the big picture purpose of Insightful is to help our customers take the pain out of the best practice of following their donors and prospects in the news. And we hear from nonprofits that they know this is a best prospect, they want to do it, but right now there's not an easy way for them to do it. They set up a bunch of alerts. Sometimes it's about their person, sometimes it's not. Their inbox gets buried, they just stop tracking, and then they miss something and it causes problems. And we really created Insightful to help make that process easier, and that is helping our customers. And we've accomplished that in two ways. One, an easy to use platform that I will walk through during the course of this demo. And two, the depth and breadth of our sources that come from our parent company, Newsbank, Inc. And our sources include 14,000 unique sources in over 200 countries. This includes newspapers, SEC filings, the Edgar feed, society magazines, radio and TV transcripts, business and medical journals and publications, and obituaries. And we're excited to share that our obituary collection has expanded. We recently added notices from more than 27,000 funeral homes from all 50 states to our collection. And this addition makes Insightful the most comprehensive source available for staying on top of obituaries, death notices, and funeral home postings. We understand how important it is for nonprofits to get that information in a timely manner and have one place that they can search for and get information on people that have passed away that they need to know about. And the second way that we accomplish taking the pain out of news alerts is our platform. And I'm going to walk through that. Right here is an example of an account that a nonprofit would have. And this is the information that the nonprofit would provide us from their CRM. They would get information into Insightful in two ways. One, if they have an RENXT CRM, we have an easy to use API connection where they can bring in their entire donor database. We also work with most of our customers actually using an easy to use CSV file upload process where you can upload the people that you want news about into Insightful. And I'm going to go into sample profile. This is Patty Baker. We chose Patty because she's a prominent philanthropist in Naples, Florida, where our headquarters is. And this gives you an example of the type of information that we're bringing in about Patty into Insightful. And the reason why we're bringing in information from your CRM is so that we can match the people, companies, and foundations that you want and need information about with our 14,000 current and historical news sources. And this gives you an idea of what we're pulling in, and that is the donor's name, relationships, spouse, family, children, partner, locations that they're associated with. That's important, especially if they spend time in multiple places, and any companies or nonprofits they're associated with, and aliases, stage names, and any other way that you may find them in the news. It's important to know what we are pulling and also what we're not pulling. We're not pulling giving information from your CRM, confidential notes, or any other PII information from your database. We're just pulling this basic demographic information so that we can accurately match your people with our sources to make sure you're getting the right information, the information about the right Patty Baker, your Patty Baker, not another Patty Baker. And that information, all of those factors, we use that to put together an automatic smart search about every single donor that you're bringing into Insightful. And that powers the donor's newsfeed. And quickly, I'm going to break Insightful into two parts. One is what has happened in the life of that donor's story historically, and then also what's happening now, what you need to be alerted to in real time. And historically, our sources go back, most of them to the mid-1980s, some of them even further. So here we have information about Patty going back to the year 1984. And you can filter by year about articles that you want to see about Patty. You can filter by keywords if you want to know just about Patty's philanthropy, about her business, about another keyword about Patty. Publication, you can filter by publication, country, state, just to kind of break down the total information into what you want to see about Patty's past. And this information is helpful because it really helps you to see the story of your donors. It's helpful to know what other nonprofits they've given to in the past, if they've won past awards, information about businesses they may own. We hear all the time that organizations have a really hard time getting information about privately held companies. And the best possible way to get that information is the news, especially historical news, because those privately held companies really make an impact in the communities that they're in. And when they're making moves, when they've hired a bunch of people, when they've acquired, when they've sold, those are the type of, when they've made major gifts or anything that's really happening in those companies is being reported about in that local news. So you can find out a whole lot about a donor's privately held company in historical news, and that gives you more information about their capacity and how to engage them as well. And just a quick success story about historical news. We work with a law school customer that had a meeting with a family that they knew had capacity, but they were new to this organization. And in our historical news, they found out that the patriarch of the family and really the creator of the generational wealth was a World War II veteran. And that information was helpful to them because they happen to have a case item for veteran scholarships. So in the course of their conversation with that family, they were able to bring up that they had that as an opportunity, and the family immediately gravitated towards that. And that really made that first interaction better and helped them kind of find the right possible case item to talk to that donor about, as opposed to just throwing all the potential case items at the wall. So that's what has happened in the past, and how we make it easier to find that information by taking, again, that profile information and using that to create that automatic smart search the minute you bring any prospects into Insightful to power their news feed. So it makes it really easy to find out the story of a donor quickly through only vetted news sources in our historical information. So this is the other piece of Insightful. This is what's happening about your donors now that you want to be alerted on via email and be able to act on. Go through a couple of examples here. So on the left, you get an email alert every day at 8 a.m. And that's one email that has the names of all of the donors that you personally want to stay on top of information about. Each user can follow different and be alerted on different donors so that you can make sure that that's focused and that's being spread out amongst the team. So that you get the email, one click, you're here, you see the names of the donor on the left, the news on the right, and I'm gonna go into Darlene Shiley as a sample here. And it looks like there was a recent philanthropy event for her. So you would get that email alert, click into Darlene, see the article here, and you would see her name highlighted here. And then with that article, you can email it, you can download it, you can print it, and this is a full text article that you can share with anyone you want. You can share it with another team member. That's actually the most common use case of our users, is people on the prospect management, prospect research side are following donors, prospects, board members, and they're getting the information and forwarding it to gift officers, to leadership, to take action on. So this allows you to do that and not get stopped by, not have anyone get stopped by a paywall or a gate. It's that full text. So in this scenario, you would be able to send this to Darlene Shiley's gift officer to be able to reach out to her. I know that she spoke at an Association of Healthcare Philanthropy conference a few years ago and talked about how important it is that nonprofits know about what's happening in the lives of donors and about what donors have done historically. So Darlene especially, I think, would appreciate a reach out about something that's happening recently. Go into somebody else here. This is Richard Schultz. He's a fellow Minnesotan. I'm from Minnesota, founder of Best Buy. And this is an article about some nonprofit activity that he has in Boulder, Colorado. I did not know he was philanthropic in Boulder. So if he was one of your donors, you would be able to reach out to him about this event or know about it in order to inform your cultivation strategy there. Couple of other examples of how recent news is used is, as we mentioned, we have a very comprehensive database of obituaries and death notices, and that being focused and presented in your latest news is important, because if you have a key stakeholder that has a family member that passes away, or if they pass away, having that news and information in a timely manner enables your organization to do the right thing. That may mean booking travel for the president of your university to go attend a service, making sure you send flowers, sending condolences in a timely manner. That's so important to donors, and there have been a number of nonprofits that have missed that information and that's caused issues for them. We don't want that to happen to you. And on the other side, donors love when great things happen and they're reported about in the news, and you have that in a timely manner, and you're able to, and the gift officer that serves them or the leader of your institution is able to reach out and congratulate them. That makes those gift officers, the heads of your organization, look like all-knowing rock stars when they have that information from sources all over the world, from those tiny papers to those major sources. Having that and having that in a timely manner really deepens those relationships and shows the donor that you care about them and what's happening in their life. We work with an Ivy League institution that shared that we are the #1 source of news about donor awards, board appointments, and that information is regularly being fed to the leadership of and president and other leaders in the university in order to reach out to their donors. And that's helping make a difference in donor relationships and philanthropy. We also work with a major healthcare foundation that all of you would know the name of that is doing the exact same thing. And that's really moving the needle for them as an organization. So that's the recent news and how we work with our customers to make sure they get the information they need when they need it, they get it to the right person to take the right action to deepen donor relationships and inspire greater giving, and to do it without having the pain and the time consuming nature of it that existed before Insightful. Go to 2 more features here. One is, this is where you can do a quick lookup of someone that might not be in your database or you may not have decided to bring into Insightful. It includes that same kind of smart automatic search capability by just kind of typing in names, relationships, locations, and then doing the search about that person. Or you can do it on an organization. Maybe a lot of our customers like to look up foundations here to get the current and historical news that we have about those foundations in order to see if they're a fit or to help them kind of direct that proposal that that we've heard that the information that our customers find in Insightful has helped make those grant proposals better and help organizations get grants by using information that they wouldn't have had otherwise if they didn't have that strong current and historical news to have just some more information about what that foundation is looking for. And also interests. This is a place where you can follow information. You can follow interests. You can follow interests about yourself or other peer institutions. Actually, I'm going to go to one more place. We recently have the ability to follow that in the news as well. So you can set up topics that you're interested in Insightful. And if you follow those interests, you get an email alert on those as well. So you can follow yourself, you can follow a peer institution, you can follow a case item that you're fundraising for. That's especially helpful for our medical customers that need to stay on top of things like Alzheimer's research or other medical issues that have news about them, and they and their team need to be on top of all of the latest news about what's happening in order to fundraise more effectively. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
Sarah, thank you so much for that information. Yeah, so we do have some questions coming in. So again, thank you, Sarah, and I want to welcome our colleague Mariana Boone. She's our senior product manager, also here to help answer questions. And quick reminder, you can open up the chat feature. It's a bubble icon on the left side of your screen. Type your question in there. We'll do our best to get to all of them. So with some questions that are coming in now about alumni who live internationally. Could you talk more about your international or global resources?
Yes, we license content that feeds Insightful from over 200 countries, and that includes both current and historical sources going back to the mid-1980s, sometimes sooner. And that's been helpful for our customers to find hard to find information about their international donors and prospects.
Thank you. Going back to the example you showed with Patty Baker, is there an RSS feed or something that we can subscribe to so articles like those can be automatically emailed?
Yes, we provide, if you're following a prospect or donor in Insightful, you get an email alert every day at 8 a.m. that shows you all of the donors you follow that are in the news. And that makes it easy to stay on top of that news in a timely manner. And since we license our content, we get the direct feed from publishers, so you get it more efficiently.
Wonderful, thank you. Oh, and this question we get asked all the time. How is this different from a Google alert?
This is my favorite question. So first, Google is an ad platform, first and foremost. We all know that. And they're going to serve you up the things they want you to see and not necessarily what you're looking for. And we're different because we are going to serve you what you're looking for. And we license content directly from the publishers. So we're getting that content quickly and then sending it to you, and not sending you 100 emails a day about people that may not be about your news that may not be about your people. We're sending you one email a day at 8 a.m. Eastern that you click on to stay on top of your donors in the news, and so that doesn't get lost in your inbox. And also, quick example of this, Google web scrapes. So they're scraping the web to find information that they think you might care about based on the alerts you've set up. And we have a customer that was following a donor in Insightful and also following a donor using Google Alerts. And that donor won a huge award. A gift officer was set ready to meet with that donor. Insightful let them know right away that that hit the news, and that gift officer was able to go into the meeting with the donor, congratulate that donor on that huge milestone. The donor felt great, the organization was happy, and that really deepened the relationship. And in that organization got the Google alert 3 days later about the same event. And if they would have waited those 3 days, it would have been stale. The major gift officer wouldn't have had the opportunity to interact with the donor in person. And other organizations may have gotten to that congratulations first. And as we know, we don't like to think of other nonprofits as our competitors, but we are competing for dollars and relationship capital. And if other organizations that donor is supporting at a leadership level acknowledge something and acknowledge it quickly, and you don't, the donor has to ask the question, do they care about me less, that they're not staying on top of this information? So those are just a few reasons why we are different than a Google alert. It's ease of use, it's timeliness of content, and really that we're getting content, we're delivering content to you that's locked behind paywalls as well, so that you're not having to log into a paywall or a gate to see what you need to see about your donor. Mariana, do you?
I would also say, let's also not underestimate the importance of vetted sources, right, in prospect research. That trustworthy news content comes from reputable outlets that have a track record of professional journalism, editorial standards, fact-checking processes. When using a simple Google search to power your alerts, the results can include a mix of opinion blogs, unverified content, or even misinformation in addition to reputable sources. So it's critical to differentiate between established media outlets and unknown or unreliable ones. And because all the content in Insightful is licensed, you can rest assured that our team of professionals has thoroughly vetted all of the news sources before bringing them into Newsbank and Insightful. And I think, Sarah, this is what you were getting at too, is that there's algorithm bias where search engines like Google will prioritize content based on factors like search engine optimization or popularity, not necessarily accuracy or trustworthiness, which can really lead to a mixed bag of content, with those higher ranked results not always being the most credible. And when it comes to prospect research, and I point to myself because I was in that business as well, Sarah, and fundraising, basing decisions on inaccurate information or unverified information can have serious consequences, damaging reputations, producing unproductive leads. So using those vetted sources really helps ensure that decisions that are based on this information are grounded in fact and not misinformation.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the algorithm, and one of the limits of Google too is they can't scrape behind the paywall. And we mentioned that before, and that's a huge liability to miss things. And one thing that we're asked is, well, why don't you just, I use Google, it's free. Well, is it free if it's taking a ton of your time and you're not getting, and you're missing information, and as you said, getting information that may not be vetted? That doesn't equal free, because it's time consuming and you're missing out on crucial opportunities to engage with your donors in a timely manner.
Wow, lots of good points there. Yes, that is such a popular question that we do get. A question about pricing and seats. Could you address that, please?
Absolutely. The way we price is not by seat. We do customized pricing based on every organization and their needs and team. And we're happy to have a conversation with you about what it would be like to partner with you and your organization, and invite you to get in touch with us to learn more.
Fantastic, wonderful. A question about due diligence. Due diligence is coming up more and more in our office. Can Insightful help with our due diligence research?
Yeah, I could take that one, Catherine. So absolutely. So prospect researchers that work in advancement, most of them belong to a professional organization called APRA, the Association of Professional Researchers in Advancement. And APRA International recommends that when doing due diligence research, which, to backtrack a bit, due diligence in fundraising refers to the process of vetting a potential donor or a volunteer or another supporter to make sure that there's nothing in their background that could bring financial or reputational harm to the organization, right? So APRA International guides researchers in how to conduct this research, and it recommends that they conduct a negative news search, and I'm reading this off of their website, a negative news search for the prospect's businesses, the prospect's source of wealth, family members, and other connections. So you can see how Insightful definitely comes in handy providing that news search that Sarah was demonstrating earlier. Again, searching for negative news is a delicate process, and it's really important, again, to make sure that when doing this, you have access to trustworthy sources of news for this research, because important organizational decisions will be made using this information. As we said before, Insightful is the ultimate hub of vetted news sources from around the world. And this is also really important because you might find that information, a negative press, in a publication that is not necessarily based in the United States. And so with over 14,000 publications, including many that are really hyper local, it is the best source of prospect researchers who are looking for those trustworthy news. Sarah said too, users can conduct deep dives into historical news mentions, right? So if you're researching a particular individual or organization, you can go back to most of the content in the mid-1980s to find past news. But insightful users can also set up alerts on volunteers and donors that matter to them most, and then monitor those news for any negative press. Another thing that Sarah showed in the demo was those inclusion filters that we have. Back to APRA International, APRA has a set of search terms that they recommend for use in uncovering negative news. Search terms such as scandal, prosecution, criticism, lawsuit, plaintiff. And if you use this table of search terms and you combine them in the insightful keyword inclusion filters, you can hone in very quickly in somebody's historical news on articles that might mention something that could be potentially negative news. So absolutely, Insightful can be an amazing resource for this.
And to quickly build on what Mariana shared, I just want to share a quick testimonial from Wheaton College on this topic. I'm going to read it so I get it correct. And that's, we found international news information that we would not have found otherwise. Insightful helped us with our due diligence and also helped us refine our outreach strategies. The benefit of having this information in a timely manner more than justified our subscription price. And that's from Catherine at Wheaton. So just wanted to share a real world example of that due diligence information.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. I think we have time for one more question. I'm going to kind of combine two here and hope we can try to answer both in one. How is this different from what my communications office is using? And we have so many tools, why do we need this one? So maybe kind of talking about the importance of Insightful versus other tools, and maybe even specifically the communications office.
Sure, I can take this one. So your communications office likely has a media monitoring tool to monitor your institution. And that's what it's built for. It's really not built to monitor, and nor will they be monitoring your donors, your trustees, foundations, companies that you care about. That's just not what those are built for. We are specifically built for that purpose with both our sources, current and historical, and our interface. So you can monitor your institution also in Insightful. We did that. But this is a tool that you need for your fundraising efforts, not just your communications efforts about those specific people. And so many tools, why this one? And my answer to that is, this is a tool that you can take information from and really act on it and deepen those relationships. It's that news-based information when you know the right things about your donors at the right time, and you're able to reach out and experience the great things that happen in your donor's life, and also sometimes the difficult things. That just naturally deepens the relationship between you and that donor, and that leads to better philanthropic engagement. And I don't know a whole lot of other tools that really do that. There's tons of tools that will give you more information about capacity, but at the end of the day, we're in the relationship business, right? We're matching donors, foundations, corporations that want to be generous with the needs of our nonprofit, and that happens through relationship, and we can help with that.
Outstanding, outstanding. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Mariana. I also want to thank our guests for all these great questions, but in the interest of time, we are going to move on. If we weren't able to get to your question today, we do have it, and we will follow up with you after the webinar. So I wanted to let you know today's presentation is just one step in our commitment to partnering with you. We invite you, perhaps gather up some others from your fundraising team or your institution or organization. We'd love to do a complimentary customized demonstration for your team, and we'll happily schedule a time for you. If you would like to download information about Insightful, it's again in our handout section. You can download it there, or if you're having any trouble finding it, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, shoot us an email and we'll be happy to follow up with you. Our contact information is on the screen right now. So if as you log out today, you will see a brief survey. Please take a moment to let us know what you thought about today's session and how we can improve in the future. On behalf of the Insightful team, thank you for sharing part of your day with us. Goodbye.
Thank you.